Spiking COVID-19 rates, rising hospitalizations right on the heels of spring break have Jackson Public Schools hitting the pause button on a return to the classroom. They will be going 100% virtual for at least 1 week.
Prior to March, we were really healthy. I mean, January, February, we looked like we had no staff and next to no students. And then March came and we ended up with somewhere in the ballpark of about 20 students that were positive throughout the month of March. And when we left prior to spring break, we had in excess of 500 students. That's about 10% of our population that were in a quarantine because of close contact. So this wasn't one where they were all positive, but we had an excessive number of students that were in quarantine.
Jackson Public Schools is not the only district going remote. East Lansing Public Schools, Leslie Public Schools, and Okemos Public Schools are also going virtual after spring break. This comes after recommendations from the Ingham County Health Department. The county saw its highest number of COVID deaths in 1 week last week, with 9 deaths. That's up from the prior average of 2 a week. Their positivity rate is also up at 15.2%, highest since April 2020.
A lot of transmission of COVID going on in this community. We're seeing a lot of cases, I think, 1,200, 1,300 in the last week. The majority of those, 45% of those cases are between the ages of 10 and 29.
Spring sports are starting soon across mid-Michigan schools. Superintendent Jeff Beal says this could be a good gauge as to where things stand locally with the coronavirus.
Prior to any of our athletes, we've got about 150 athletes that will be hitting a practice field this week after they pass a COVID screening test. So we'll have that rapid test available. So no one will hit a practice field until they've been screened. But we should get a pretty good idea of kind of where we're at if we end up seeing several positives, or we see positives come back within that athletic group, that population of pre-screening kids. That'll give us an indicator as to what we might be expecting or experiencing.
After the full week of virtual, the goal for Jackson Public Schools is to shoot for a hybrid model so there can be less people in the buildings to lower the chance for community spread.
We really want our kids here. We feel like they do better face to face. As frustrating as it is to bring them all in and send them all out, the truth is having them in the classrooms, that's number one priority for us. We want them here and we want everybody to be safe. But the reality is we know that virtual learning is working very well for some and not as well for others. And so for us, the challenge is really how do we balance kind of that safety and health with really getting the kids into the buildings.
Your Jackson neighborhood reporter, Joe Gebhardt, Fox 47 News.